Hello everyone, this is Nimish and today we're going to review the movie Devadoothan, starring Mohanlal. This movie is a mix of genres. It was one of the best cinematic experiences I've had in the Malayalam film industry if you speak about classics. Now, before I get into this review, and since it's a classic movie review, it's a little older movie. One thing I'd like to shout out, which I never really do, but I want to do it at this point, is that if you guys really like my classic reviews, my classic movie reviews, if not the new ones, please do share them, because I can imagine being in Bollywood if someone suddenly reviews DDLJ or suddenly reviews Sholay or something like that, and I'm not a very everyday YouTube user who's hunting for reviews. I wouldn't even know it exists, but I would definitely be interested in watching it. Similarly, if you guys share it on your Facebook, your Twitter, your WhatsApp, if you guys are watching it on your phones, these classic reviews will reach out to some audiences who might be really interested in watching these reviews. So please do take a moment out and share these videos if you really like them. And if you have not yet already subscribed, please do subscribe. And you might see me saying this over and over again when it comes to classic reviews, but that's the thing. It is our old movies. People probably don't know it exists, and it would be great if they know it exists. Even if 3 or 4 of your friends, each of your friends, watch it, 1,000 people watch my video, that makes it 3,000 people get to watch it. And that's not for me. I'm not doing this for money at all, but it's just so that people know that these movies are being reviewed and they can also get some entertainment out of it. Anyway, moving on to the review of Devadoothan. This is a Mohanlal starrer. From the first scene to the last scene, Mohanlal is the man that is the driving force in this movie. It has a bunch of supporting actors, including Jagati sir, including Jaya Prada, but Mohanlal is the primary driving force. This movie is a mix of genres. It has a complete continuous musical element to it right from the first frame. It starts with a song, and for till the end it continues with music in the background, songs, beautiful melodies, and that's one track. It's a musical for sure. Secondly, it also has a horror and supernatural element to it, because there are things happening which can't be explained. They're clearly supernatural, and we'll speak about that more in this review. And thirdly, it has the suspense mystery thriller element to it, which is of course always attached to horror. Whenever you speak of horror, there's a mystery, and that's why I love horror movies, because they're always very interesting. And fourthly, this is more of a love story than you would ever imagine. It also has a love track to it. It also has a drama track to it. So it's a mix of all genres, and that's why I think that this is a very interesting and special movie and a wonderful experience for me. Just like Manichitratal was. It was not, Manichitratal, as we know, is not just like one psychological thriller or a horror or a suspense. It has so many elements to it. It even has comedy elements to it, which is what makes it so special, and which is what makes it so rare. And I think Devadoothan comes in that genre. It comes in the Manichitratal genre, where everything is sort of combined. Now, please don't mistake me by saying that how can I compare this to Manichitratal? I'm not comparing it at all. I'm just saying that it falls in that category of well-made, all genres accounted for kind of cinema. So Devadoothan, on the acting performance front, Mohanlal was good as usual. Now, as I have always spoken about Mohanlal's acting, and I speak about it in detail when required, and I will be watching many more of his movies. I don't want to take up too much time speaking about his acting unless there's something extraordinary that I notice about him. In this movie, he played the part of a music maestro very well, as would any other actor. So I think that he did his job really well, as he always does, and so he was fantastic, and he was the driving force of the movie, and he gave it something different, which probably an ordinary actor, the story would have been larger than the character, but Mohanlal gave it a very strong character, and he had many emotions to play. And we all know by now how Mohanlal just kind of plays with emotions between every 2 scenes, between every 3 scenes. So even here, he was getting angry, he was getting sad, he was getting confused, he was not understanding. All of those emotions were happening, and he did a fantastic job. In fact, this is one of the first movies, because I've been watching Mohanlal more and more, where I felt that he's literally not playing Mohanlal. He was kind of in the Mammootty zone, where he completely became that person, and it was a very different character to watch on screen. It wasn't like watching Mohanlal do something great. It just felt like you're watching that particular character, and that's what was special about his performance in this movie. All the other performances were great. I definitely felt that Jagati Srikumar, who was in a comedy role and was playing a sort of a womanly character, in terms of he was a priest, but he had a feminine characteristics to him. did a wonderful job. He did a fantastic job. But I don't feel that the comedy track was required. I feel that the movie could have been trimmed and it was very distracting. The movie had extraordinary, interesting elements and kind of a flow to it, which was broken by songs, which was broken by unnecessary comedy, which for me wasn't even funny. So, although he was outstandingly fabulous, he kind of played the role he did in Urmi, but to a much more feminine and simpler extent. In Urmi, he was playing a conniving kind of a feminist character, but here he was very simple. He was not conniving or planning or plotting. He was playing the comic relief of the movie. I didn't think the movie needed that. I think it just extended the movie for no reason, and so I felt that that track should have not been there. But nevertheless, he performed very well. All the other actors, including Jayaprada, did what they had to do. They delivered how they had to deliver, and there was no instance of bad acting, so to speak, as for me at least, in this movie. Moving on to the story, it is a wonderful story. It's a different story, including that instrument which is called the seven bells. It's a one of a kind instrument which you'll always remember. Like Mani Chitratal had the ornate lock, that particular lock, which kind of remains in our memory, which is also on the title and the poster. And whenever that lock comes, you'll always think of Mani Chitratal. Similarly, the seven bells instrument is something I've never seen in any other movie, and it's so special to this movie. And the haunting or horror elements are also attached to that instrument, which is what makes it really special and really different and unique, and it's fun to watch. Also, story wise, this is about love, this is about the past, this is about the present, this is about how it affects Mohanlal's character when he comes back to the college and how he tries to find the truth. And I think that it was presented in a wonderful way. Something that I loved in this movie was the cinematography. It was beyond excellence. It was at a Hollywood level. The director of photography and the cinematographer have absolutely worked hand in hand to a mind-blowing level to give us some absolutely memorable shots. One of my favorite shots is the one of the house where Mohanlal lives, and it's taken through the window of the opposite building. And I think that kind of shot keeps coming, and every time it comes, it's very beautiful. It looks absolutely insane. Like that, there are many, many more shots, and in fact, if you notice, this is a very older film, but it used that handheld camera effects many times to follow Mohanlal when he's talking, when he's walking, when he's talking to Jayaprada in the park. It had those foggy elements, those greenery around it, some kind of parks and ruins, old colleges. So I loved the locations, I loved the cinematography, I loved the way they were captured, and I loved the way the camera was operated in this movie. So overall, on the technical front, this is extremely excellent. One of the best I've seen in the Malayalam films. The only other film that I've specifically mentioned camera work was Seventh Day, which was a newer film, so it's still understandable. This was older, and I really didn't expect to be impressed by the camera work and cinematography, so that was fantastic. This movie is on YouTube with subtitles, so if you definitely want to notice some of that, just go through any part of the movie. You'll find some great cinematic shots, angles, and it's absolutely fun to watch. So now coming to the entire impact of the movie, I definitely felt that the story, the kind of backstory to what's happening was of course predictable to all of us, and I felt that they could have made it something more interesting, more gripping, something more trim. So as I said, the comedy elements, some of the fight scenes prolonged it, the songs, maybe some of them prolonged it. And so if they had just trimmed it and worked more on making it a good kind of twisty story at the end, or a mind-bending story at the end, instead of a predictable story that goes on the path that we know it's going on, then it would have helped the movie a lot more. So although this is a wonderful film and I really loved it, it could have been as great as Mani Chitratal if they had worked a little more on the story and kind of broken their heads as to how they can make this different, how they can make this better, how they can put a little more haunting element to it, a little more nicer mystery to it, and that's where it could have done better. And I think this is one of the best movies that I have watched in the Malayalam films, and of course it could have been better, but it is what it is, and it's definitely a movie I would love to watch again and again because of the atmosphere it creates. You just feel like sitting with a cup of tea and watching this movie. 3 cups of tea, whatever it takes. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm going with 4 stars for Devadoothan, because if it had done better in that mystery, if it had done better in the editing, it would have got 5 stars. But I'm going with 4 today for Devadoothan. I hope you like this review. As I said, please do share all my classics review. It takes a second. If you guys are watching it on your phone, just share it to your WhatsApp, to your Facebook, to your Twitter, wherever it goes. Even if a few extra people watch it, it really helps to know that people are watching these videos. They know that these old movies kind of reviews are there, the newer reviews are there from people like me. I'm not only saying this for my channel, even for the other channels who are doing these reviews. Definitely keep sharing, it helps us all. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and keep watching.